What the hell is happening, guys? Stevo here. Hope you're all good. I'm not too bad. Wednesday morning, it's a little bit gloomy outside. It's about 10:30, but I'm kind of in a good mood. I've just watched the latest episode of This Is Us. Obviously, here is the review. And what an emotional episode it was. I described the first two episodes as being beautiful. The storyline is very personal to myself, and that has continued. Today's episode was, I literally just sat there, and for 45 minutes I was just an emotional wreck. It was a really deeply moving episode. It was so well acted. So it's just such a Dan Fogelman, the way the show's put together. It's had some critics I've been reading, but especially the storyline with Kate and how obese women are never sort of seen in a good light on TV, and the storylines never end well. But I'm seeing a side to Kate's storyline that, for me, it's more than just about the weight. Do you know what I mean? Her relationship with her twin brother was far more important point of the episode than her singing in front of people and being embarrassed because of her weight. The way Kevin and Kate's storyline, and they're going their separate ways now towards the end of the episode, and he's basically told her to stand on her own 2 feet. She spent her entire life, they're twins, she spent her entire life looking after him, and he's basically just told her to do something for her for a change. And for me, this episode really, there wasn't a lot to do with her weight, and I don't think that is, obviously it's a big issue in her life, and she's determined to lose it, but I don't think that that's the more important emotion. I don't think that's the way to see her arc in this series so far, really. Her relationship with Toby is moving fast, obviously. Her relationship with her brother has been explained very well. And that storyline, I think her finding herself and her way in life is a really positive storyline. I think Toby getting in a huff and saying that he won't always play second best to her brother was a little bit selfish of him. But maybe she did need to loosen the apron strings a little bit with her brother. And I think Kevin realised that as well. So I think that will only make their relationship stronger in the end. But that's my thoughts anyway. Obviously, this episode focused a lot of its past scenes on Rebecca rejecting Kyle, as he was called, and then going to see William and finding out about William's, pretty much we found out a lot of his origin story, and how Rebecca actually knew him in the past, and they had an agreement that he would never show up in Randall's life. He was originally called Kyle when she wasn't bonding with him. She found out that William, his nickname is Shakespeare because he was a bit of a poet before he got into drugs and stuff. And this whole storyline for me is just insane how emotional it can make. I'm not an emotional guy by any means, don't get me wrong. I'll cry if something upsets me. But this storyline with William, and I said in my last review, I really hope that his arc is an arc of redemption, because it really sticks personal with me. I've had issues in the past with addiction, and I've overcome them and had a second chance. And I think even if his cancer has metastasised and he hasn't got long to live, I would rather his arc be one of redemption in this series, and we see him pass away at the end, rather than him have lied about his cancer and to become a villain, so to speak, as much as we can have a villain in a show like this. But I think with showing him as a budding poet, he fell in love with a girl, and then we see him, obviously addiction conquers his life, and gives up Randall, and Rebecca and Jack obviously adopt him, and it's just so emotional. Obviously the scene with Rebecca in the present day and William, where they argue that William shouldn't have entered his life, and that it was Randall that found his dad. They were really emotional scenes, and I found myself really engrossed with every single scene. The acting absolutely smashes it out of the park in this show. It's so touching, and we finally have a little bit of conflict going on, obviously with Toby and Kate. There's a little bit of conflict between Rebecca and William, and then obviously William tried to leave, and Randall really showed his mean side and got him to the hospital so we could have William's example. And the song by Jason C. Frank, Blues Run the Game was played twice, and they had little montages with William in the past and the present, dealing with his addiction and his cancer and stuff, and they were really, really moving scenes. And then obviously we had the background when Kate sang in the nursing home. We had the montage running in the background of Kate as well, and it was just really, really moving stuff. We didn't get the twist at the end of the episode, which I think is good, that the show has decided to move away from having a twist at the end of every episode. We didn't really get much of an explanation as to why Jack and Rebecca aren't together in the present day. Miguel, we didn't get really much of an explanation. Miguel had like 2 scenes, so hopefully we'll clarify that. This episode really focused more on the emotional well-being of Rebecca after she gave birth to the children, coming to terms with having a baby die, and adopting Kyle, nee Randall. And it was really dealing with how she dealt with those emotions, and how Williams dealt with the emotions of leaving Randall for 30 years and having his son back, and Randall dealing with the emotions that he's got inside, that he's found his father, the father's got cancer, and now the father's only got weeks, maybe months to live if they try this experimental treatment. I just think there's so much going on in this show emotionally that my voice is cracking talking about it. It's just it hits all the right notes. There's no missteps. The show flows beautifully. I just can't say enough good things about this show, guys. I could literally sit here and blub. The Williams storyline for me is probably one of the most hard-hitting and home storylines that I've seen. It means a lot to me. I won't obviously go into it too much. Maybe I will in a future video. But there's a lot of stuff for me that's very, very familiar. So, just absolutely fantastic. Obviously, there's been a teaser for next week's episode, so I'm going to have a look at that. I might bring you a little breakdown of that to see what we can be expecting next week. Other than that, I just hope that Dan Fogelman and the actors and actresses keep the standard going through the roof, because the standard of this show is on a different level to anything on television at the moment emotionally. That's my personal thoughts. If you disagree with me, leave a comment and we'll have a debate. But for me, there's nothing as hard hitting emotionally on television at the moment than this does, and it's fantastic. Absolutely love it. This is El Stevo signing out. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me for you to subscribe and support me. The content will always stay free. Content will always stay my opinion and my opinion only. But for now, it's El Stevo signing out. This is us. Wow, guys. Tears. Just tears. Peace.